Hello, everyone. Father Pat Garrett, our pastor, with us on this Monday morning. Good morning, Father. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah.
There is a passage in the book of Proverbs that says, "Train a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not turn from it." We just finished a week of Rocky Railway Vacation Bible School, in which a handful of volunteers trained our children up in the way of the Lord last week. You were a part of it every day. I know you spoke to the kids every day. There was about 46 of them. How did it go?
Oh man, it was fantastic, right? You know, we had started planning to have a limited 40 students here on campus, right? When we started planning the VBS and a couple of weeks ago, right? That's when the archdiocese said, "Hey, look, you probably shouldn't be having events on your campus other than liturgical events, sacramental events." So we immediately the team immediately went into full virtual mode. They had been talking about ways that we could also offer it virtually, but they in really a week's time turned the whole thing around and made it virtual. And I was just amazed the way they were able to engage the children and the way that they were able to really seem to teach. I was only on each day for a limited amount of time, but I know the time that I was on, I had a good time, right? And I could tell the children seemed to be having a really good time, and it had a really good message, right? And I mean that's at the end of the day what it was all about, right? It just had this message about how important Jesus' power is to us, how Jesus' power helps us to do hard things. Trust Jesus. Yeah, you can see all the kids screaming about that, right? And Jesus' power gives us hope. Trust Jesus. And Jesus' power helps us to be bold. Trust Jesus. And Jesus' power lets us live forever. Trust Jesus. And Jesus' power helps us be good friends. Trust Jesus. So, it's a really important message, right? About how we need to indeed trust in Jesus here to do those hard things, to give us hope. I mean, how much do all of us need that message right now, right? How much do all of us need the message to trust Jesus now as we do hard things, as we need the hope? And then for them to end with this idea of trust Jesus to help us be good friends, right? At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And, we've been talking about individualism and utilitarianism and all of these fancy words. And at the end of the day, it's just about being good friends. And society today, because of all of these isms, right, pull us away from truly being what it means to be good friends. And we've just got to focus on how we can receive God's love and allow God's love to penetrate our heart so that indeed we can be a good friend to someone else. Mm-hmm.
I can see it, and I'm sure you can see it, and had envisioned it. Perhaps the children all getting together in the church on the Sunday after Vacation Bible School, and all coming together and declaring trust Jesus, just like you did several times there. It would have been good for the whole church to see that.
Yeah, and at the mass yesterday, right, the noon mass, we had people, some in the church, a lot of them, joining us via the live stream, right? So we still were able to have this great celebration. What a great way to put a punctuation mark on the whole VBS week with a good liturgical celebration. And so that was just such a wonderful way to celebrate, right, and to remind us to trust Jesus. And that whole power of Jesus, right, comes from allowing Jesus into our hearts, right? So the gospel this weekend about the sower of the seeds, and some of the seeds going on to good soil and some going on to bad soil, right? I mean, that's all what it has to do with being able to trust Jesus, is cultivating that soil so that Jesus's word can penetrate onto our heart. And it's just so important that we do those things to really cultivate the soil, to develop the good habits, to develop the good prayer habits, the good spiritual habits, the good virtues, right? Just being good, nice to people, to allow Jesus to touch our hearts. That's how we can really truly trust Jesus to help us to do the hard things, to help us to make those good friends. And that was such a great punctuation mark to the whole VBS week, to gather there in celebration at the Eucharist, to give thanks and to hear God's message, and how indeed it is through God's word that we can trust Jesus.
And obviously, with 46 children sitting in front of a computer screen, they were able to adapt to the new format, which is another example of the church body being able to adapt in this time when we're having to.
Yeah, that all through these last few months, right? Our ability to adapt to this pandemic has just been amazing, right? And now as things are tightening back up again, right? We've got to remember the ways we were able to adapt back in March and April, right? And we've got to just continue to adapt, right? It is that take each day at a time, and really just look at what we've got that day and figure out the ways we can go through the day, continuing to build community, continuing to build those relationships, not getting discouraged by all of it going on, but just doing what we can, right? As we've been saying, we can't change the world, but we can change our world by just taking every opportunity every day and keeping a positive attitude and trust Jesus.
Father Pat, thanks for your time. I'm sure we'll talk to you later this week.
All right. Goodbye. Take care.